So welcome back to this channel, IBM classes, and here in this video we will going to discuss CHGPFTRG command, that is change PF trigger command. So let's start. I'm doing work member PDM. Then I have already created example which I for that rpgle trigger which I showed in my previous video. So here's the example and here's the PF. So this was a PF on which the triggers are applied, and you can see the trigger DSPFD. Just check case 25PF DSPFD on this file, and here we mentioned type as start TRG. So we'll be getting the trigger information on this file. So here basically the first trigger is insert underscore trigger underscore external underscore rpgle, and it is in enabled state. It's insert trigger after insert, and trigger time is after, means after insert trigger. So case 25 will be called once this trigger is fired, and another trigger is insert update. On update also the same program will be fired, and on delete also the same program will be fired, and on read also the same program will be fired, and all the triggers are in enabled state right now, right? So this is the case 25 program which will get fired, where I'm just catching the, or you can say receiving the trigger buffer and trigger buffer length, and based on that using the data structures or old or new record data structures and null mapping data structures. I'm just checking this whether uh, we have inserted there is an insert record, delete record, or update record, or read operation is performed on the table. So based on that I'm just doing some writing some logic here. So I'm displaying the message record inserted, deleted, updated, or right, like this one, based on that one. So this is the code. I'm not going into this detail. So for this purpose you can watch my video um, where I have mentioned that you can learn rpgle trigger programming in 1 hour. So that is available in Hindi and English, both languages. So you can watch that video for the information about external trigger. So here's one file, and here's the another here's the program case 25. So what I'm doing, how I'm gonna testing this program is just I'm doing strsql, and I'm gonna inserting the value, insert into case 25 pf, right? I'm selecting id1 as id1 r1. I can give you id1, name is Amit, like age is 30 for example. So I'm inserting the record. So my trigger is fired, and the case 25 program gets triggered or executed. So from there I can see this message record inserted in file list, right, which is an after trigger. So if I do this again, for example this one with id2, I can see record inserted in file this message again, because I inserted the record again. Update case 25 pf set name equals to where id1 so that is not name, that is name 1, id1 equals to, for example, 2. So the record updated successfully. As we can see, record updated in file this. We got this message because our update trigger gets fired. We are getting this message. So if I'm gonna, for example, first reading the record, select star from file file is case25pf, where name equals to, for example, Amar, what we updated right now. Select, this is name one, right? So the trigger is fired, which is after read trigger. Now record being read from file, this one, I get this message after execution of the program case 25, which is associated with the trigger. I can see the record here. Now if I gonna delete this, where name one equals to Amar, for example. So the record deleted in file this one, I am getting this message, hence the trigger is fired, program case 25 is executed successfully. I can see that the record is deleted successfully. So whenever I am inserting, deleting, reading, or updating the record in that file case 25, I am the trigger associated with that file gets filed, and the program which is case 25 associated with the trigger gets executed successfully, and I'm seeing the messages on the particular operation, right? So this is how trigger is working. But now how and why I should use change pftrg command. So for removing the trigger, I have the command remove pftrg. I can use this command to remove this trigger if I don't want the trigger to be executed for this file, right? But now I'm not using this, so I have another option, chgpftrg command. So what this command will do, I'll be mentioning case 25pf file name here. This is the library IBM class 1, and trigger is, for example, for all the triggers I'm doing this. So if I'm doing it for the one trigger or two trigger, I'll be mentioning the name separately for every time in the chgpftrg command, but I'm doing it for all the triggers. Trigger is star all, library is not a star all, this is IBM class 1, right? Now I have to disable this trigger. I don't want to remove this trigger permanently from this file, and I just want that these triggers will not get executed when I am doing inserting, updating, deleting, or reading the record from that file, right? I just want to disable these triggers for some time, and after some time, if I feels that these triggers should be enabled on that file, I would be enabling that trigger from this command only. So in that case, I'm not losing my triggers anywhere, right? So I'm not gonna using remove pftrg command in that case. I'm just using chgpftrg command, right? So here on state, I can give these values, enable, disable. So currently the trigger is enabled, so I'll be giving the disabled, start disabled, right? Trigger parameter conflicts with trigger lib. The trigger parameter conflicts with trigger lib parameter. The trigger parameter value conflicts with the trigger lib parameter for one of the following reasons. Trigger value other than star all requires a trigger lib value other than star all. So trigger value for star all requires a trigger lib value of star all, right? So here what it is mentioned that there is a validation from IBM, right? So what that validation is, if you are specifying star all there, then the library must be star all, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just changing the for the triggers for case 25pf, right? So what I'm doing, DSPFG, just do DSPFD again, then case 25pf, right? Type is star trg. So I would be able to see the trigger information for this file. I can see the first one is the insert trigger, which is now disabled, right? So you can see the state is disabled, The second one is the update trigger, for which the state is disabled as well. The third one is the delete trigger, for which the state is disabled as well. And for the fourth one, which is the read trigger, the state is disabled. So now these triggers are disabled using CHGPFTRG command. Now I'm gonna perform some operations, right? I'm gonna inserting this record, so I can see that I'm not getting any message. So my triggers are actually disabled. So there is no message occurring and there is no program executed or trigger filed from insert operation being performed on case 25PF. So now I'm gonna updating this. If I updated this, I can see that there is no trigger filed in this case also. So if I'm gonna read the record, I can see there is no trigger filed again. If I'm gonna deleting the record, I can still see that no trigger file. So all the triggers are in disabled state, right? So I am using the same command again, and now I am enabling. For example, I just want to enable it right now. Enable, right? So triggers change for file this one. If I do DSP job log, then shift access, trigger was changed, trigger was changed, trigger was changed. So the four triggers actually change. So if I would be seeing, if I do F1 on that, I would be seeing the more details. Insert trigger, this one was changed in library. This one on the second one, update trigger was changed. The third one, the delete trigger was changed, and the fourth one is the read trigger was changed, right? So all the triggers are in enabled state right now. So if I see the DSP update information with type star TRG, I can see the state is enabled. Now state is enabled for update also, for delete also, and for read also. For all the triggers, the state is now enabled. So now if I gonna do the same operations again, I would be seeing that the trigger is fired and the program executed, right? I'm seeing the message right now, and my trigger is working because all the triggers are now activated again or enabled again. So I can see all the triggers are working, either on insert, either on update, either on read, and either on delete as well. So this is the functioning, or this is the functioning of CHGPFTRG command, which you have seen in my video. So please watch this video full. Please watch this whole video to have the uh, demo, or to have the command on this. You can just CL command, CHGPFTRG command. So try to use this command as much as possible, because this command is very useful, because in this case you want be using your existing triggers from that file. So in case in future, if you just want that those triggers should be enabled again, then you can just use this command based on your any handling, any condition or any check based on some condition. You can enable or you can disable these triggers, so you just uh, don't lose those triggers from file. So this is a very useful command. So that's all. Thank you.